Alright, I'm going to be on GoPro video for a little while because reasons, technology. Also, you need to take the project at a little bit of a tangent here. I've gone as far with wiring in the Kayak hull as I can without doing some other stuff first. So, now it's time to start modding the trolling motor. I already briefly showed you the mod that I had made to my temporary trolling motor where I brought out an external throttle at the end of a cable. I want to do something similar with this. This is a Hasswing 65 pound thrust, or was before I got it. 65 pound thrust, I think brushless trolling motor. Should be a beast on a Kayak. I had it apart, I think within about 15 minutes of receiving it a few months ago, to determine whether or not I can hack it, and it looks like it's going to be relatively easy to do. The throttle control is just this trim pot. It has 3 wires, and that is why the throttle control cable through the hull also has 3 wires. So extending this will be easy electrically. Mechanically, a little bit more of a challenge. I have the high current motor cable and the signal cable. I wasn't able to find a connector that I could live with that would handle both the high current and low current paths. So I've got 2 separate cables. This one, I'd like to use that big round 4 conductor cable that I have instead of this because I can't get my nifty waterproof connectors to seal around that. The cable gland needs a round cable jacket. This won't be as difficult, but how do I get the wires out of it? I took the handle off, which allows me to now have this super sweet baton thing, I guess, so I can feel like a badass. But then I've got this snuffleupagus thing kind of sticking out here that I'm not entirely sure what to do with. I found a grommet that I can put in there, left over from another project, but it has 2 wire holes, and I really only need 1, so it's not a perfect solution. Fits well. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to work through this, so I guess we get to do it together. Now you might ask, well, Bort, why are you working so hard to mod this motor when you can buy one that has a remote throttle? And the answer to that is I can't buy quite what I want. I've looked at the motors with various kinds of remote throttles, and for one, they're much more expensive. And secondly, the vast majority of them are just stupid. They have these clunky foot controls or these weird little push button key fob things. Now, I want a knob. I want to just turn this thing and have it go fast or slow or stop or whatever. And I want to use the foot pedal controls for the rudder on the Kayak to steer it. So the best case outcome that I'm looking for is to find a clean way to replace this cable with this cable and bring it out of this head unit here, and to cable out the throttle control with this little cable to get rid of this goofy snout thing, because it's kind of ridiculous without the tiller handle and would really be in the way. It looks stupid, and I don't remember how to put it back together. And then lop these 2 pivot hinge doohickeys off of here and 3D print a bezel to clean up this face. I don't think I can get rid of this unit entirely because this is a brushless motor, and that means it's going to need some kind of control electronics, and I'm thinking that's probably in here. So the next thing I need to do is take it apart more, figure out what's inside, what I have to work with, and from there maybe I'll have some clarity around how to proceed. being able to see what I'm doing is also good. This thing's basically empty. The only circuit board in here is for the LED battery charge indicator. Check that out. I need to cogitate on this a little bit because that might open up some new possibilities. Oh, and one part I haven't mentioned is I'd like to shorten this shaft a bit too. It's way too long for a kayak. Even though I'm not quite sure how I'm going to proceed with this, I need to take it apart still further to do much of anything. So this little circuit board with LEDs on it, I don't need the LEDs. They only tell me 100%, 50%, 20%, and they're almost certainly for lead acid chemistry and won't mean anything for a lithium battery. So, bye-bye. Strain relief on power wires. Could go away. And that could tell me what kind of opening I have to work with here. Not the easiest to work with, but it's something. Okay, the other thing that's in here is there is a little piezo speaker that I think is an overheat alarm for the motor. And that might actually be useful. I'll see if I can kind of cleverly remove that. It's glued in place in this little bezel in here. Piezo buzzer bezel ungluer tool. Oop. Well, that died. So, yep. No piezo buzzer either. Alrighty. So what's in this heat shrink?
Hey, can you hear me over the background noise?
I guess I'll find out when I edit. I have this thing about as far apart as I want to go right now, and as I'm sitting here paralyzed with indecision about the 10,000 different ways I could go with it, the obvious occurred to me, as it sometimes belatedly does. I really should just rig something up and get some hours on it as a proof of concept before I get carried away. So I think that's the direction I want to steer this for now. I'll reuse this same housing without making any super drastic modifications to it. I was thinking about eliminating it entirely and trying to find some way to just seal the end of this, cut it off, and seal the wires coming out of the end of it. But I'll put that off, I think. The other thing is, well, I've got all kinds of crap laying around my shop from past lives, from past projects. Some of it's been here for decades. But some of that crap includes a piezo buzzer, different size and shape than the original, but it ought to suffice, and a couple of grommets that just happen to fit, and even though they're old, they're still rubbery and pliable, so that's pretty rad. Where to go from here? So I think what I'll try to do is run this big cable out here through where the motor wires originally came from, if I can, if there's a way to do that. If not, I might have to come to back to a larger open area like this to run them out. The smaller cable, I'll just bring that out near the bigger cable wherever it's convenient. Replace the buzzer. This thing. This is going to be a pain in my ass. It's just a trim pot, but it's custom designed for this application. And I may have some challenges getting a knob to fit this. We shall see. I haven't found a clever way to deal with it yet. Also a clever way to mount it. Gears still turning. I got a little bit medieval on this thing. Installed a couple of grommets, lopped off the pivot for the tiller handle, and I glued in my own piezo buzzer. I think I'm about ready to put this thing back together. In. So for your reference, that is what we are looking at now. All I need to do is connect these wires. Probably easier said than done. The next mechanical issue is strain reliefs for these wires. For the small cable, I can get by with a cable tie. The bigger cable will need a more elaborate solution. And what I'm going to cobble together is another one of the grommets that I use for that, and a band clamp. It's a little ghetto. I'll need to put some more thought into it, but this will keep me going for today. Now I have a motor with these two awesome wires hanging out of it. Looking pretty sexy, except for that. And I need to figure out how long to cut the wires. So, why don't you come out to the kayak with me and let's test fit it. Alright, now you get my original crappy camera back. Congratulations. But it'll be easier for both of us. You get a better view, and I don't have to stop every 20 minutes to download video off the GoPro. So, cut this cable to length. Bye-bye cable. Cut this cable to length. Bye-bye cable. So the extra heat shrink is to deal with this difference in cable gland diameter versus cable jacket diameter. If you've followed this project, you may have noted that I've encountered this on a number of these.